Hi everyone, this is Johnnyonoes, and I'm playing Project Zomboid version 35.16, and in this Let's Learn episode, I'm going to teach you how to farm. I got a specific request during one of my streams to show how the whole farming process happens and what's the best way to do things. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start off by looking at all the different tools that you need to be able to get a farm together. The first one you're going to need is a shovel, which will allow you to dig dirt in one location and bring it to another. You could go without a shovel, but it's best to at least control where you're throwing dirt. You're going to need sacks to hold dirt. You're going to need cigarettes and milk for some of the diseases that may occur on your crops, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. You're going to need some seeds to plant. You're going to need at least 2 garden spray cans, which is for those remedies that we'll talk about later. You need a trowel to be able to prepare the dirt to allow you to plant your seeds. You need a watering can to water your crops. And that is about it. So let's go ahead and get started with a little farm right here. So what you're going to want to look for is you're going to want to look for grass. Now, grass is kind of your universal indicator that there is some dirt here. So right-click it and then say Take Dirt, and then click on one of your sacks. This will have your person dig up the dirt and put it into one of the sacks. So you'll see that I have now 9 sacks, and one of the sacks is now considered a dirt bag. Now, each bag or sack can hold up to 4 units of whatever material you're digging up. In this case, it's obviously dirt. So let's go ahead and dig up 2 of them and put it in the same dirt bag. You can see that the remaining is now at half, showing you that you have 2 units of dirt in that bag. Now that we've dug it up using the shovel, we can go ahead and pour the dirt out into the squares that we wish to plant at. There we go. Let me see if I can remove that grass. Kind of late in the game right now. That's only 2 months, but starting to see some overgrowth here. It doesn't look like we can remove it. And we get a scream during a Let's Learn episode. Excellent. So now that the dirt has been laid down, you can use the trowel to click on dig here. You just right click and you hit dig. As long as the trowel is in your main inventory, you can go ahead and put it here. Just kind of looking for zombies. A little bit worried that scream might have moved zombies over here. Taking a quick look. All right. So now that the 2 tiles of dirt are prepared, you can see these furrows in the dirt showing you that you're now ready to plant. Go ahead and right-click the furrows and then say Sow Seed. So we're going to put down some cabbages. Now, each of the different crops requires different numbers of seeds, and you can see that in the little indicator on the right. So it says required seeds, 29 out of 9. So it's going to take 9 seeds per plot here. And it'll take 9 every time. So yeah, we had 29, and now we have 20. The music is making me even more nervous here. All right, so now that the seeds are down, we now have to water them. Now, the water level for each crop can be different. There are 2 crops in particular that you need to pay careful attention to, and that is carrots and radishes. Carrots and radishes require different levels of watering, but everything else requires you to just throw down as much water as you can. You can hit right-click and then info to get info on each of the different plots here. As you level up, these question marks will go away, and it'll tell you exactly which growing phase, how long it's going to take to get to the next growing phase, when's the last time it's been watered, whether it's fertilized, the health of the crop. This one's sickly for some reason. It's very much geared on basically, this will become a number from 1 to 10 or 1 to 100. I think it can actually go above 100 if your skill is high enough, but this is giving you a basic idea of kind of how or where you are in the health. The lower your farming skill, the lower the crop will be when you place it at first. So if you have really high farming skill, it actually start out at a pretty high health right from the get-go. So now that we've watered both of these, you can now have to wait a certain amount of time for these to grow. And I'll give you a link to the wiki page that gives you a nice big table of all the information regarding each of the crops. whether or not you can. So basically, how much should you water them by, how low the water can be before the health starts to degrade, but as well as some other information regarding like how long it will take to go through all the different stages of growth as well. So I'll put that in the description below. So that's basically it on how to prepare some crops for growing and then eventually eating the vegetables once they're fully grown. Like I said, please go ahead and take a look at that wiki page that I'll have linked below with all the growing information. So now I'm going to go ahead and talk about the different sicknesses that each of the crops can get. There are 3 types of diseases each of your crops can acquire over time. 2 of them can be dealt with and 1 cannot. The first one is called mildew, which causes your plants to actually grow and mature at a slower rate. Sometimes if the mildew gets so bad that they actually will not grow, like they'll stay in the growing phase for forever. I've seen some plants that will just never grow to maturity and will just eventually rot away. So that's mildew. Insects will make it so that the plants require additional water. So you got to keep an eye out for both mildew and insects. Now, if a plant gets what's called the devil's water fungi, that basically means that you're going to get a smaller yield from each of your plots. You really want to be able to what you want to do is if you have a plant that has devil's water fungi, ensure that they're separated from other plants. Or what you can always do is you can destroy the plant by let's go ahead and you can click on remove to remove the plant, and then what you want to do is you want to drop another pile of dirt on here to then kind of reset the cell. That's what is a suggested way of dealing with devil's water fungi is. I tend to just leave it and it will go away. You'll get a smaller yield from each plant, but I tend to plant 2 plants per cycle in case one of them gets the devil's water fungi. You can't really protect yourself from it. It'll just happen randomly. But the only way I protect myself away from it is I have 2 of each plant per cycle in case one gets it. That way I'll at least have every 3 or 4 days, I'll at least have 2 of each plant available to me to harvest. So the way you can combat these different diseases is you can make yourself what's called, there's the flies cure as well as the mildew cure. To get the recipe for this, you'll find it in a farming magazine, just randomly placed along everywhere on the map. I found it in like bookshelves. I found it in like magazine racks in gas stations and other different shops. You'll find a lot of them. I found about, I think, 15 to 20 of them in this current Let's Play series, so they're pretty easy to find compared to the other magazines that I'm still looking for. So to make the flies cure, all you need is 5 cigarettes as well as 3 units of water. Now I'm allow you to make the flies cure, and then to make the mildew cure, all you need is milk, and rotten milk actually still works. So let's go ahead and make one. Craft it, and it also uses the gardening spray can. So make sure to have 2 of those before you start doing a lot of farming. So after that's built, I've got myself a mildew spray and then an insecticide spray. You just right-click your crop and then go to treat problem. It looks like this one has pest flies. Once you get a certain level of farming that allows you to see which disease is there, and as you go even higher level, you'll find out what the rate of disease is. So this number here, this treat problem. So I'm going to just do 5 and see if it goes away. So yeah, apparently the intensity of the disease was either 5 or below. So you'll get like flies, and there'll be a number there that indicates the intensity of the issue. If you leave a crop in a state of a disease, that number will eventually go up, requiring you to use more and more of your insecticide spray or your mildew spray to cure the issue. All right, folks, so that's farming in a nutshell. Hopefully this video helps understand how to farm and how to protect your crops from diseases. If you have any questions at all, please go ahead and leave them in the comments below. Be sure to check the wiki link that I put in the description for more detail on, how long does each crop take, and what's the watering levels that each crop needs. So definitely look out for radishes and carrots, which need to be farmed in an area that is roofed over to allow you to control how much water each of the carrots and radishes are going to take. But definitely take a look at that. Take a look at that table to find out exactly what you need for water levels, as well as how long they're going to take to grow and all that good stuff. My personal suggestion, or the way I do it, is I tend to make 3 different crops. I make cabbages for something that's going to be readily available, often, because cabbages grow extremely fast. I think if you're at the highest level, they tend to grow like 9 or 10 days, but when you're at low level, they take 10 or 12 to 13 days to grow to maturity. I also grow potatoes, which tend to grow, and a gunshot. Wow, we had a scream and a gunshot while in one Let's Learn video. Potatoes tend to last for a very long amount of time. They last a lot longer than cabbages, but they also take a lot longer to grow. So having some potatoes available for you at least gives you something that, if you don't have enough materials to prepare a good stir fry, at least you'll still have potatoes available to you to eat for a long period of time. The third crop that I tend to grow are carrots, where I can use those carrots to catch myself some rabbits when my trapping skill is up to that level. Alright folks, so this is Johnnyonoes and playing Project Zomboid version 35.16. As I said before, please go ahead and leave any questions you might have in the comments below. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks so much for watching.